reported on the Benghazi arms deal a long time ago. The truth is the reason the deep state entangled techno-Nazis are deleting channels like mine. They can't handle the truth, and they don't want you to know. But now that Stony Stone and I have the beginning of what we intend to build into an internationally syndicated radio talk show, they haven't got a prayer. Unless, of course, they're praying to their god Molech. Good luck with that. The following is a segment from my original video, which was posted on my now-deleted channel in November of 2016. It lays out what Judicial Watch finally obtained hard evidence for 3 years later, in November of 2019. That clip follows the clip of my video. The videos are linked below if you want to see the entire videos start to finish.
The following video was posted on my original channel, Covfefe with Dave, which has long since been deleted by the thereTube techno-Nazis. I have a message. It's an article that I am using with permission from the New Jersey Deviler, November 2016 edition, page 10, and it is titled, "So Here's the Real Story. Why Did They Not Send Help to Benghazi?" Ambassador Stevens was sent to Benghazi post-haste in order to retrieve U.S.-made Stinger missiles supplied to Ansar al-Sharia without congressional oversight or permission. Hillary brokered the deal through Stevens and a private arms dealer named Mark Turi. Then some of the shoulder-fired missiles ended up in Afghanistan, used against our own military. It was July 25, 2012, when a Chinook helicopter was taken down by one of our own Stingers, but the Taliban soldier didn't arm the missile and the Chinook didn't explode, but had to land anyway. An ordnance team recovered the serial number off the missile, which led back to a cache of Stingers being kept in Qatar by the CIA. Obama and Hillary were now in full panic mode, and Stevens was sent in to retrieve the rest of the Stingers. This was a quote-unquote do-or-die mission, which explains the stand-down orders given to multiple commando teams. It was the State Department, not the CIA, that supplied them to our sworn enemies, because Patriots wouldn't supply these deadly weapons due to their potential use on commercial aircraft. Then Obama threw General Patriots under the bus after he refused to testify that he'd okayed the bullshit talking points about a spontaneous uprising due to a YouTube video. Obama and Hillary committed treason, and this is what the investigation is all about. Why she had a private server in order to delete the digital evidence, and why Obama, 2 weeks after the attack, told the UN that the attack was because of a YouTube video, even though everyone knew it was not. Further, the Taliban knew that this administration aided and abetted the enemy without congressional approval when Boehmer created the Select Committee and the Taliban began pushing Obama administration for the release of 5 Taliban generals. Traitor Sergeant Brigadi was traded for the generals. So what do we have? A traitor as the President of the United States that is not only corrupt, but compromised. A woman that is a serial liar, perjured herself multiple times at the hearing, who is running for President of the United States. Only the politicians with their hands out, palms up, will support her. The reason why no military aircraft was called in? It's because the administration knew our enemies had Stingers. And that is signed Reader Albert W., U.S. Army, retired. Well, folks, I guess the cat is out of the bag. In a very short article in the New Jersey Deviler, November 2016, and I will leave subscription notes and how to get a hold of the publisher of the paper down in the description section. We always knew that these people were corrupt and they did not have the interests of the United States at heart. We also know now what the story was all about, because the ambassador had to be killed in order to cover up this story. Another one of the fatalities that can be attributed to the Bill and Hillary corruption, and corruption is a very, very weak word to use in this context, in this unbelievable act of treason against the United States. We, the people, have to stand up and demand the abolition of this thing that plagued the United States for a long, long time, and that's the ability of the president to pardon anyone he wants to. If a crime is committed, the punishment should be exacted, and the president should not have the ability to pardon his co-conspirators and his accomplices in treason. This is Dave from Net4TruthUSA.com. Please like and share this video and pass it around to everybody you know, because this needs to get out. This needs to get out. If from now until the inauguration of Donald Trump, something is going to happen, they're going to pull something to distract the American people away from this issue. And it's not only Benghazi, it's the pay-for-play scheme, the Pizzagate. All of this stuff is coming to fruition. It's coming to a big pinhead, like a big pimple that you pinch on your face. It's about to burst. It's about to blow up in their face, and they're scared shitless.
The following is the Judicial Watch video posted 3 years after my original video announcing that the evidence for what I told you back in November of 2016 has finally been uncovered. See the link below to watch the entire video, a portion of which is included here.
I'm saying it because Judicial Watch has the documents that show it. When perhaps what was, I would say this is, we have a lot of significant work that we do. And our Benghazi lawsuits were because they led obviously to the creation of Select Committee, the truth about what the Benghazi lies that that Obama told us, and the Clinton email scandal. That whole universe of investigation was the most significant, I think remains the most significant non-governmental investigation in American history. And one of the key aspects, one of the key documents that we uncovered, and I think it's arguably the most important thing we've ever found, are documents showing, and this is the headline, Judicial Watch, Defense State Department documents reveal Obama administration knew that Al-Qaeda terrorists had planned Benghazi attack 10 days in advance. The funny thing is, that's not even the most important part of it. This is the most important part. Well, I guess we can argue about what's more important, but we couldn't write enough headlines on these documents. Administration knew, Obama, 3 months before the November 2012 presidential election, of ISIS plans to establish a caliphate in Iraq. Administration knew of arms being shipped from Benghazi to Syria. Okay. They knew and were supporting terrorist movements in Syria opposed to the Assad regime. And we knew arms were being shipped out of Benghazi to support that. And we knew it in such a way that almost certainly, that suggests one of two things, that we were doing it or we could have stopped it. And on top of that, we were warned that we all knew we were supporting the terrorists, or the administration knew, they didn't want to admit it. But also they were warned about the rise of ISIS that we're all supposed to be concerned about, because President Trump has decided with some evidence that ISIS has been largely destroyed, and we can end our participation in that region, or at least in that Syria area, or basically allow the Turks to come in and do whatever the Turks need to do to protect themselves. So the documents show, let me talk about the movement of arms from Benghazi to Libya. From Benghazi to Syria. That's a conspiracy theory, folks. Well, it's a conspiracy theory based on a government document that says, weapons from the former Libya, this is a DIA document, Department of Defense Intelligence Agency. By the way, the DIA at the time was being run by General Flynn, and methinks it's because of documents like this that the Obama gang hated him and wanted to put him in jail. Weapons from the former Libya military stockpiles were shipped from the port of Benghazi, Libya, to the port of Banias and the port of Borja Islam, Syria. The weapons shipped during late August 2012 were sniper rifles, RPGs, and 125 millimeter and 155 millimeter howitzer missiles. During the immediate aftermath of and following the uncertainty caused by the downfall of the Gaddafi regime in October 2011, which of course was precipitated by American military might under Barack Obama, which of course caused the murder of Gaddafi, and up until early September 2012, weapons from the former Libya military stockpiles located in Benghazi, Libya, were shipped from the port of Benghazi, Libya. Of course, I've already read that part. The Syrian ports were chosen due to the small amounts of cargo transiting these two ports. The ships used to transport the weapons were medium-sized and able to hold 10 or less shipping cargo containers or cargo. The DIA document further details the weapons shipped from Syria during late August. The numbers for each weapon were estimated to be 500 sniper rifles, 100 RPG launchers with 300 total rounds, and approximately 400 howitzer missiles, 200 each of 125 millimeters and 200 each of 155 millimeter. Okay, guys, if you think the DIA had access to that level of detail without also information about who was doing it in a way that could have been stopped, and of course the KG about who was doing it. It's a passive voice. So we knew Benghazi was, and we're in a position to stop. I mean, if you know the actual numbers to the size of what weapons are being shipped out, the type of ships being used, it seems to me you're in a position to stop it. Or maybe you were involved in it yourself. So there you go. Obama and Hillary Clinton participated in the overthrow of the Gaddafi regime, leading to the murder of Gaddafi, in-rushed the terrorists that turned Libya into a plaything for them. Out of that was, with our knowledge, sent arms to Syria to fund the terrorists who were attacking and trying to overthrow the Assad regime. Now, I'm not a fan of the Assad regime. I'm not a fan of the terrorists. But when you have two terrible enemies of yours fighting each other, why do we come in on one side or the other? And certainly, why would we support Al-Qaeda? You ask, how is it you know, Tom, we were supporting Al-Qaeda? And I say, it's the DIA document that tells me this.
And how did I know 3 years in advance about the same thing he's talking about right now in October of 2016? How did I know? I have connections and I have sources which are impeccable. So don't call bullshit on my videos anymore. I don't do this shit for shits and giggles. I do it to save my country. You got that?
The regime will survive. In 2012, the Defense Intelligence Agency was telling the Obama administration the regime will survive. And yet we spent billions trying to kick it out. Displaced tens and hundreds of thousands of people. I mean, the Syrians, the Syrian government, they're butchers. I understand that. But don't you want to win wars when you engage in them? And shouldn't you acknowledge you're engaging in it before you start supporting terrorists as a front to remove a regime you don't like? Development of the current events into a proxy war. Here, the proxy war that I warned about. With support from Russia, China, and Iran, the regime is controlling the areas of influence along coastal territories and is fiercely defending Homs, which is considered the primary transportation route in Syria. On the other hand, opposition forces, the terrorists that we were arming and supporting, are trying to control the eastern areas, again, near the border at Iraq. In addition to neighboring Turkish borders. Surprise, surprise, the Turks were upset about what was going on their border. Similar to what transpired in Libya when Benghazi was chosen as the command center of the temporary government. They're trying to do in Syria what they did in Benghazi or in Libya. That's what the Obama administration was doing. They were supporting terrorist groups in Libya to overthrow the Gaddafi regime, and they're trying to do it again in Syria. This document shows it. The terrorist mess and the Russia footprint in Syria, the Iranian increased footprint in Syria, the rise of ISIS, all foreseen by this document, uncovered by Judicial Watch. So everyone attacking Trump after he spent and was convinced to continue the Syrian campaign that was started illicitly by Obama and Clinton as they played games in nation building and regime change.
And while they were selling out the United States of America to terrorists, they were playing both sides of the chessboard, and in the chaos of them stirring the turd where we had no business, they also profited off of undocumented children whose parents were killed in the war, selling them on the market and sacrificing them to Molech. That's a fact. And your disbelief of it doesn't change the fact. It doesn't change the facts. Wrap your head around it. It happens. And it's been happening, and it's going to continue to happen until these rat bastard cockroaches are exterminated from this planet.
That's the truth about Syria. So if you don't like the results of what's happening today, blame Barack Obama and Hillary Clinton. That's what this document shows. And I spent the time going through it because the media will never tell you about it. They think history begins. They hate history, actually. The left hates history. The left is the enemy of memory. The left is the enemy of history. The left is the enemy of facts. The left is the enemy of truth. Because they need to be able to do whatever they want, whenever they want, and they never want to be held to account. That's what's happening in Syria, and Trump's taking it on the chin for getting out of that morass. We have the documents.
Please subscribe to our backup channels, Net4Truth USA 2 Patriot channel, BitChute.com/net4Truth USA, and drop.space /@Net4Truth USA. We fly so close to the target, we are on our 5th fighter jet. We will be relentless and persistent until the enemies of freedom are defeated. You can support this channel by using the links in the description, but for a $100 donation, I will personally send you a autographed hardcover special edition copy of Land of Childhood's Fears. Also, visit my bookstore at lulu.com Net4Truth USA. If you are viewing this video on BitChute, you can use the links in the description to support us, or simply click the green $ dot on our video to support this channel. Thank you. Links are in the description section.